So this was a kind of a knowledge-driven chapter, as Morpheus is trying to get back to his home, and lo and behold, his home is crumbled. But we first start the chapter with being introduced to Cain and Abel, and let's just say Cain is a complete asshole to Abel. And if anyone's ever seen the, well, spoiler, the Lucifer TV show, Abel is in that one. No, Cain is in that one, and he's a complete asshole. and him and Abel have always just murdered each other, or Cain's always murdered Abel. He sets Abel up with a president. Abel thinks it's an explosion, and pretty much, I think by the end of the chapter it is, because he died again. And yeah, I'll get back on that later. We're introduced to a lot of characters in this chapter, and I could tell that this book, this whole series is gonna have so many characters, and I'm already horrible with names, and I'm really good with faces, but I'm horrible with names. So if I butcher names or forget names, sorry. And plus I'm watching a lot of shows right now. I'm trying to do reactions, so it's just gonna be hard. But I'm trying to take notes. Got my little notebook. But anyways, so Dream is brought to Cain and Abel by Gregory the Gargoyle, and he's obviously in a very weakened state, and he just needs help. He needs to rest, and he needs to find out like where his tools are, because his tools help him to restore his strength. So yeah, Cain is normally like really mean, and was just kind of taking advantage of Abel while Morpheus was gone. But now that Morpheus is back, he's, you know, did 180, acting all nice and pleasant and everything. It's just a lie, and Abel is just telling the truth, like he can't help himself. And so they do have possessions of Morpheus, some written materials he's had, and I assume anything that is his possession gives him his strength back. Anything that he, you know, that was his in any way can give him some strength back. And there's a scene where they mention Arkham Asylum, but Arkham Asylum, you know, is DC. So that was my first little like, huh? Like, but I didn't think too much of it. And you'll see where I'm going here. But so I didn't pay it too much attention, but I was like, okay, Arkham Asylum for the, you know what, I'm just noticing right now, it does say for the criminally insane, and that's DC. That is DC. I'm like, okay, cool. Anyways, in this scene, we see Morpheus. I believe he's saying he's been in prison, and he kind of went into this old lady, and as she's visiting her, like one of her son in Arkham Asylum, deep in the basement, and this guy hasn't dreamed in like, what was it, 10 years, and this guy's basically just decaying. I wonder if these guys need some sun though. These guys need some sun. I don't know if they keep them there you know, all hours of the day, but they'll get some time outside, you know. I know they're crazy and all, but you'll get a lot crazier if you don't get any sunlight. Let's just say that. So Morpheus proceeds to go off to his home to, I don't know, see what's left. And yeah, it's when he gets home, it's worse than he thought. You know, his home he's very kind of shocked, and like his home is messed up. To be honest, there's some broken windows and stuff like that, so it doesn't look too bad, but I don't know like what it originally looked like, so I can't tell if it's like really bad, but judging by the look on his face, it's pretty bad. He has like a caretaker there, Lucian. He says he had a library, so maybe it's this librarian, servant, caretaker guy. But he's been kind of just sticking around the place, and yeah, the place has definitely just been decaying. It was decaying slowly at first, but then it picked up the speed of the decay. And his library, like all these are dreams that Morpheus his power like creates, and like with him being gone so long, the dreams slowly kind of faded away, so the library faded away amongst many other things. So yeah, after that scene, we continue to see more scenes of Cain and Abel just being a freaking prick, just being mean to his brother. Like, geez, like you would think there's some point Abel's gonna snap, but he's really nice. But you think he's gonna snap, but they've been alive this whole time. At this point he is who he is. But anyways, Morpheus called him the first story, the victim of the first story. So I think Abel is the first person to like get murdered or something, and Cain's the one that did it, and that process repeats itself. And they do have a picture of what Morpheus like palace or home in this pristine picture, but to be honest, I mean, it looks, I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. It's just, you know, dilapidated. It looks like no one's lived there for a while. A little bit of maintenance here or there, fix it all up. But it looks like he's starting from scratch. He's gonna start from scratch. And so he proceeds to summon 3 witches and gather what he needs to summon 3 witches. And he needs these 3 witches so they can help him find his tools. And with their help, he can only ask them each like 1 question, and they can only and that's the limit until the next time he can be able to summon them. But I don't know like the constraints on that. But they're very specific. Like, you ask the stuff, you can't ask follow-up questions. And so he proceeds to ask some questions about where everything is. And this is where I definitely connected to DC, because they named John Constantine. John Constantine's part of the story. So that's cool. And Constantine was one of the movies I have on my list to watch. I never really watched that movie fully. I've seen parts of it when it was like on basic TV and TNT or whatever. But the Keanu Reeves Constantine. But I would like to watch it again, and maybe I'll do a reaction, you know? Because I think when I seen bits of it before, I was like, I really didn't know what the heck was going on. But they also mention and show the Justice League, and they show Batman and the Green Lantern. I know the licenses and stuff like that is tricky, so I doubt we'll ever see the Justice League and a Sandman Netflix show or anything like that. But hey, Morpheus is part of DC. I didn't know that. I'm not a comic book guy like that, so, but that's pretty cool. So yeah, Batman, he's a DC character, so that makes me kind of think about this a little differently. I thought it was like, well, it is a. I'm thinking this is a completely original story by Neil Gaiman, but it's in the DC universe now. So all those guys are around. Superman's around. All those guys are around. And then we end this chapter on a kind of a sad note, like Abel making me feel some sympathy. Like he just wants a brother who can love him. Like Cain has been treating him like shit his whole existence, and he just longs for someone to you know, to love him. Which makes me feel like whenever I see characters like this, I always think they're gonna snap at some point. But he's been going through this kind of cycle for eons, so he is who he is at this point. That's what I'm thinking. What I think about this chapter, it was this chapter was more of a you know, adding characters, kind of building the universe a little bit more, name drops, all this kind of stuff. So it was exciting to see the various name drops, and I'm just very intrigued on what's gonna happen, because they're building up like what his huge journey is gonna be like. He's gonna have to search for his tools so he can get his strength back. He's nowhere near strong enough to face any of the hordes of hell, as he said. But he doesn't know who John Constantine is, and I don't completely know who John is, but I know this is his area. He's a human, but he has like some powers or something like that. But this is his area of expertise, dealing with you know, hordes of hell and just that kind of supernatural stuff, heaven and hell. And so it looks like Morpheus is kind of underestimating him, because he's just calling him just what can a regular human do, you know? So yeah, so that's gonna be an interesting encounter that I look forward to. That's chapter 2. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, gonna continue on. I might start doing it a little bit more than one chapter at a time, but I'm just trying to see how I can pace this for right now. But anyways, thank you for watching, and continue following me on this journey. All right, like, comment, subscribe. BTK out. Peace.